Hey Rock Point kids, I'm so excited to be back here with you guys for week 2 of our series Shout Out. Again, all this month we're going to be focusing on the theme of being grateful and gratitude. And gratitude is letting others know you see how much they've helped you. But before we dive into our message for today, I want you guys to stand up, come close to the phone screen, computer screen, TV screen, and just get ready to be really excited and have an awesome time of worship together.
God, I know you're always near. So even in the dark, I will not fear. I know the storms will come. I know I'm not alone. You are my strength, so I will say, you make me brave, you give me courage. I won't be afraid, I won't even worry. You've got the whole world in your hands. You fight for me, you help me stand. You make me brave, you give me courage. You give me courage. Oh God, you always bring me peace. You are a fortress around me. Even when my heart breaks, even when there is pain, you will be my strength, so I will say, you make me brave, you give me courage. I won't be afraid, I won't even worry. 'Cause you've got the whole world in your hands. You fight for me, you help me stand. You make me brave, you give me courage. You give me courage, courage. I can do all things through Jesus, my Savior, who gives me strength every day, strength and courage. I can do all things through Jesus, my Savior, who gives me strength every day, strength and courage. You make me brave, you give me courage. I won't be afraid, I won't even worry. 'Cause you've got the whole world in your hands. You fight for me, you help me stand. You make me brave, you give me courage. I won't be afraid, I won't even worry. 'Cause you've got the whole world in your hands. You fight for me, you help me stand. You make me brave, you give me courage. You give me courage. You give me courage, courage. Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Yes, I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am.
All right, that was so awesome. I had so much fun worshiping with you all, even though it was through a screen. I hope that you guys had a ton of fun, and I hope that you guys were jumping and dancing around and having a ton of fun, because that's actually where we're going to be learning about today in a story about King David back when he first became the king, and we're going to be going through that today. So King David had finally become the king after all this time. If you guys remember last month, we talked a lot about King David becoming the king and what it looked like once he was the king. And we talked about that in 2 of our 4 weeks. So it was a really, really big theme of last month. But now he's just become the king and he is celebrating. But he's missing something. He's missing the ark, not the big boat that Noah built, but the Ark of the Covenant. When he was at battle and trying to win and making everything happen in war before he was the king, the Philistines had actually captured the Ark of the Covenant. And instead of sitting in Jerusalem where it should have sat and where God wanted it to sit, it sat in Philistine. And so one day, David decides that he's not having that. He is going to get up and he's going to go into Philistine with all of his soldiers, and he's going to march through Philistine, and he's going to take the ark back. He doesn't want them to have it anymore. And so he does. He, as the king, gets up with his whole army and he goes into Philistine, where he will take these carrying poles and he takes it back to this area that he had already built. He built this massive tent that would house the Ark of the Covenant. And he was so excited when he got back. He could not be more excited that he had finally gotten the Ark of the Covenant back to where it was. And so let me tell you guys, when he got the ark back to where it needed to go, it was a party. They were so excited that they got the ark back. So he brought out all these nice food and drinks and a big party, and he had it for everybody in his kingdom. He wanted them to eat and feast and drink and have so much fun at this party. And King David was no different. For me, I remember something really similar to this situation. When I was in Africa, I went through to this church, and we went to this just mud church out in one of the villages, and we all stood up during worship, just like all of you did not too long ago, and everybody started dancing and doing these crazy dance moves that I've never seen in my entire life, because we were in a different country, and I was super embarrassed. I was like, that's not me. And I stood in the back, but the hard part was that the church attenders, if you stood in the back, would come and grab your hand and pull you out. And so even though I was embarrassed, I went through the part of dancing and doing all this crazy stuff and having a ton of fun anyway. But David wasn't embarrassed. He was just really excited that he was going to get to dance and have fun with his people, and that he was the king and that he got what he was looking for. He brought the ark back home. home. But there was somebody who was not that excited about what David was doing. David's wife looked out the window and saw that he was just wearing normal people clothes like me or you or Zach or Amy or anybody that you would see out in our world today. And he wasn't wearing his royal robes. He wasn't wearing the king's clothes. And she thought that was ridiculous. And she thought he was making a fool of himself. She could not believe that he was out here singing and dancing and partying with all of the people who lived in his kingdom, and that he wasn't being a king. He wasn't dressed like a king. He wasn't acting like a king. He wasn't being official like a king. And it bothered her. So she came out to talk to David, and she told him that that was not cool, that she did not think that he was doing the right thing, that he was making a fool of himself and embarrassing himself as a king. It was not professional and not the way that he should do it. And so David has this response, and that's where we're going to be in 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 21, when it says this: I did it to honor God. The Lord appointed me ruler over his people in Israel. I will celebrate to honor the Lord. David also said that he was willing to bring even less honor to himself if it would bring more honor to God. And that's the biggest thing that we're looking at today, is that his wife really thought that he was being ridiculous, that he was crazy, and that he should not be doing that. It was so unkingly of him. She cared more about how David appeared than what he was doing in his relationship with God. But David really pushed back on that, and he said, no, I'm grateful for what God has done for me, and so I will degrade myself. I will dishonor myself in any way that I have to show God how much gratitude I have for him and what he's done for me. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today, but I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you back here next week.